So before we go ahead and change our shape into a form, just watch this corner right here. When I first did it, it was pretty pointy, and you want to kind of go and round that off to make a nice corner. So I'm going to go ahead and just kind of come in and round that off a little bit. Okay, so before I proceed, I want to put a symmetry line down here because I haven't done so yet. And you can take a ruler, and this one was, I'm just a little over 8 centimeters. I could just measure it and do it at 4 centimeters. But here's a trick for those of you that prefer to avoid math a little bit. So if you take a scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to take the piece of paper and I'm just going to put it across the jar. And this is where the jar stops right here. So this is the total width. If I just take that piece of paper and I fold it to this line and I go like this, that'll show me exactly where the halfway across is. All right. So once again, I'm going to use a piece of paper to make sure my line is straight up and down by matching my bottom of the paper. And once again, this is a blocking line, so I'm keeping it fairly light, but it's going to help me to be able to see if my two sides are the same. Okay, so we have this view where we're looking straight at the jar. The problem is that's flat and that's two-dimensional. That's why I keep calling it a shape. What we need to do as artists is change the view to this. So we need to make it three-dimensional. So we never draw the line straight across, that's flat. Even if we're looking straight at it, we always go a little bit like this. So we need to change our straight line to this curve, and we're gonna do that curve right there, and we're gonna do the curve at the bottom. All right, so as always, I'm gonna turn my piece of paper, and I wanna have a nice curve, about that much. That looks pretty good. And then if you remember this trick, let me zoom in for you a bit there, to help you get your curves the same is because this curve, here's my blocking line, there's the bottom of my curve. It's that far. If I take that same piece of paper and put it here and give myself a little mark, that's gonna help because now this curve, I'm gonna start off nice and light. Again, remember, keep your drawing as light as you possibly can. And then I can do the same thing to the bottom. So I've got my 2 dots and I'm gonna go to the middle. That's why I have a symmetry line right here. And I'm gonna use the same measurement to give myself that 3rd little dot. And that will help make sure that I've got nice curves that are all the same from the top to the bottom. Okay, and then once I've done that, I'm going to turn around this way and I just need to get the top. So I usually do the same measurement here as I do below to get my curves. So I'm going to use that same measurement. Again, this is an excellent trick to help you. And now I know my curve goes this way. Again, I don't usually get my curve perfect the first time. I usually have to work it a bit. And then the last step, remember, is we don't want this too pointy in the corner. We're just gonna round our corner a bit. Okay, so now we have parallel curve, parallel curve, parallel curve. Check everything. One of the tricks to help you see if your work is symmetrical and to see if it's even is to turn your drawings upside down. And when you turn them upside down, if something's a bit off, I can say I've got to play with that curve a little bit there. It's easier to tell. So there's a new trick to add to your toolbox is always turn your drawing upside down. And now the next step is to go and erase all your blocking lines and any dark lines that you've drawn a bit too dark, you need to lighten those now. with an eraser, and then we will be ready to go on to shading.